my bike. That's the third time this fucking week. Lucky for you. We're giving away this brand new $20,000 hard enduro Sherco build. All these parts. Less than a month giveaway, link in bio, enter to win. Good luck. We're building the ultimate hard enduro bike. In front of me right here, we've got all the parts that we're gonna be using on the bike. So I'm gonna give you guys a little run through, show you what we're using and why we're using it. Starting over here, we've got Enduro Engineering radiator guards. These are the best radiator guards for Sherco out because they protect the front and the side. If you've got a Sherco and you're looking for radiator guards, get the Enduro Engineering. We are also running the Enduro Engineering rear disc guard. This is great. We're running the Enduro Engineering front disc guard. I don't think this is as important as a rear disc guard. You need to have a rear disc guard. I don't think you need to have a front disc guard. But guys, we're building the ultimate hard enduro bike, so we're gonna put on the front disc guard. We also have the Enduro Engineering slave cylinder guard. This is a slept on product that you need. Let me show you guys why you need a slave cylinder guard. There's a lot of reasons, but there's one main reason. I've seen it happen, it's no good. So we're riding the hard terrain, rock gets sucked up into your chain, derails your chain, and your chain gets bound up. It breaks your cases apart. No good. But if you're running this, it's gonna save your cases and it's gonna protect your slave cylinder when you loop out your bike at the top of the hill climb. So get a slave cylinder guard. We've got a bunch of Enduro Engineering products because they make some really good stuff. We've got the Enduro Engineering flag guards. These are good. They protect your levers from getting grabbed by tree branches. I've had my front brake get grabbed by a tree branch and I got ejected. These bolt into the top of your perch so they save room on your bike. A lot of guys run the metal wraparounds. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the metal wraparounds. Not for the reason that most people don't like them. Most don't like them because you can get your hand stuck in there supposedly and break your arms or wrist. I've never had that problem, but whenever I've ran metal handguards, my bike vibrates like crazy and it makes my bars way too stiff. I don't like it, so I run either flags or I run the plastic wraparound handguards that we sell on our website. Now we're going to some S3 stuff. We run the S3 punk pegs. These are awesome pegs. Two reasons. Number one, they're steel. Number two, they're down and back 5 millimeters, so it brings your weight a little bit further back. It opens up the cockpit, get a little bit more traction because your weight's further back. We run steel pegs. That's super important. For any of you guys that ride the tough stuff and you're hard on your bike, get steel pegs. You don't want aluminum pegs. Aluminum pegs shear off, and you definitely don't want titanium pegs because if you hit rocks with your titanium pegs, they make a very strong spark and could potentially start a fire. The owner of Inside Enduro, James Stearns, he started a fire at his own place with titanium pegs.
Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop, and then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out, I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got her. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
We are running the S3 chain guide. Anyone with Sherco or KTM bikes, get a Burley chain guide. S3 makes a good chain guide. TMD also makes a good chain guide. You need to have a chain guide. It's no fun out in the woods. You break off your chain guide and then you have to limp it back to the truck. Or you break your chain guide, derails your chain, breaks your cases. And if you're running a Burley chain guide, I think it's a good idea to run these tab protectors. These protect your tabs from breaking off just because these chain guides are so strong. This takes a hit, boom, and then it puts all the force tabs on your swing arm, and this just reinforces your tabs so they won't break off. I've never broken off a tab on my personal bike, but I've seen a bunch of guys break them off on the KTM swing arms. We are running the ODI lock-on grips. We're gonna replace the stock grips with these. They work especially good for hard enduro because you're constantly crashing your bike. It's in mud, water. The glue always seems to wear off and then they're slipping on your bars and you're trying to ride and you're out of control. It's good to have the lock-ons. Get the lock-ons. We're also putting on a P3 pipe guard. These look great, and they also protect your pipe from little dings and dents when you tip over your bike or roost. One thing to keep in mind for all you guys with KTMs, if you put one of these on a KTM, it's a good idea to also get a cylinder protector. I think Tusk makes them and some other companies I'm sure make them too. The problem with these on KTMs is when you take a hit, instead of it denting your pipe, it transfers all the energy to the front of your pipe where it attaches to your cylinder and it can literally break the cylinder off. Gearing is mega important for a hard enduro bike. Stock is pretty good for single track, but once you get to the slow techie, you gotta change it. 1250 on the Sherco works great, so we're gonna be running the Dirt Tricks 12 front. For the back, we're also running the Dirt Tricks 50 tooth rear. This thing is bomber. These come with a 2-year wear warranty. I've been running one of these all summer. It's probably been about 8 months on my bike, ton of hours, seen lots of abuse, and you can barely even tell that I've been using it. These are bizarre. They're so strong. I don't know the technology behind it, but they figured something out pretty good with those. I think those are the best sprockets on the market right now. Before that, I was running, like a lot of you guys, the alumina on the inside and the steel on the outside, like the hybrid sprockets. It's a good idea, but they're riveted together and I blew out the rivets. Maybe they're good for single track and stuff, but when you really want to use your bike and climb to the top of that mountain, I'd recommend getting a solid sprocket. We're gonna be putting on the Sherco factory lowered seat. This is good for pretty much any rider, short or tall. Comes with a stock Celdeval seat cover. These are good seat covers for single track, but for hard enduro, you want something that is sticky. So we're putting on this #1 gripper seat cover. This will literally rip your pants off. Run it. It's good. The reason to run a grippy seat cover for hard enduro, we want to be saying that we're standing up, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is when you ride the hard stuff, a lot of dudes are sitting down. And when you have a grippy seat cover, it holds your butt in place. So you're not using as much energy on your arms or your legs to hold your bike. So a grippy seat cover for the hard stuff when you're sitting down and your seat's wet, it's got mud on it, you want to stay stuck to your bike, get a grippy seat cover. These are the best seat cover I've ever used. Highly recommend this. They're kind of a pain to put on just because it's such a thick material, but you also get durability with that. So once you get them on, you're good to go. We're putting on this sweet FMF silencer. Dang, look at that thing. Oh yeah. You want one of these on your Sherco. Hear that sweet 2-stroke sound? Brap, brap. We've got the FMF gnarly up front with the indented FMF logo. FMF, they make some great stuff. For hard enduro, you have to have the right skid plate. This is mega important. If you don't have a skid plate, let me tell you a little story. I bought this bike. It's a KTM 525, kind of a vintage bike. I wanted to build it up. I bought the bike blown up. I split the cases apart. My buddy JD helps me. Shout out to JD. We split the cases. We put a new bottom in. We put a new top in. Probably my second ride on this thing. I was too lazy. I had a skid plate for it. I didn't put the skid plate on it. Launched the bike off of this rock and I bottomed out the suspension and I cracked the case. Don't be like me. Get a skid plate. Don't crack your case.
You are not him. You are not him.
I told her, bitch, I'm him, quit playing. Tryna ride with a boss, well, bitch, get in.
The Shercos come with a pretty good stock skid plate, but they don't cover the linkage. This SXS one, it's a full skid plate. It slides over stuff nice because it's plastic. The metal ones, Enduro Engineering makes a really good metal skid plate. Metal skid plate works good. They just seem to get hung up on stuff a little bit easier. A lot of guys aren't running these. This is a good idea, I think, for the hard enduro, get you out of the woods. Literally loop out, you loop out your bike, something happens. Guys, it happens. You break that off, then you have to electrocute yourself every time you want to start the bike because you have to strip the wires back and touch the wires together because none of the new bikes come with kickstarters. And the Hilo Designs came up with a solution for that. This ties into some wires back here on the KTM or the Sherco bikes, and then you glue this. I've already done it on this bike, so check out this bike. You would hear it right here behind the rear shock. So when you bust off your normal switch, you just reach back here and boom, you're good to go. Plus you can show up to the trailhead and go start your bike, just start it from back there. It's cool. So these are a good idea to have. Super good idea to have are these Dingo Designs fork protectors. Where's the other one? Here's the other one. Let me show you guys what the deal with these are. So you're crashing your bike, you're looping your, oh, here's the other one. I already put it on this bike. So you're crashing your bike, you're looping the bike out. These forks, Sherco comes with super nice forks. These are KYBs. You don't want to mess these up. You slap this thing on there. Oh boy, am I gonna be able to do it on camera? Boom! Now your fork's protected from a rock when it hits it. And then they also make the top fork protector. So you slap that thing on. Let me do it. I can do it. Put this thing on. Golly. Oh my goodness. Someone called a doctor. Okay, there we go. The top ones are good for two reasons. They protect the top of your fork, but if you're in Idaho, Montana, any of these western states, you gotta have your trail sticker. Probably any state, I guess, makes you buy a trail sticker. So you put your trail sticker on this thing, and you can be super slimy and put it on multiple bikes. I didn't just say that. All right, on to more of the parts. That'd be illegal. You wouldn't want to do that. Another slept-on product that people aren't putting on their bikes that I think is silly. Here is your stock fork protector. Here's a ProTech fork protector. If you're riding hard stuff, you have to run one of these. You do not want the stock one. This is what a KTM or a Sherco one looks like. They're good for single track, but as soon as you're crashing your bike, leaning your fork tubes and grinding them up against rocks, you need to get full wrap fork protectors. The older bikes used to come with these, but the new ones just come with the half wraps. So get a full wrap. Check it out on this bike. Full wrap fork protector. So you take an impact right here and instead of it dinging up these nice Kashima coated lower forks that are probably like $2,000, not actually $2,000 a piece, but I'd guess these are probably $600 a piece. I just had a set replaced earlier this year. It was like $400 or $500 to replace them. So protect them, because you don't want to have a leaky fork seal, and you don't want to have to get your lower forks that are perfectly good. If you had run these, you don't want to have to go get those replaced because you didn't run these. Cost you $400 and you're not riding for 2 weeks because your suspension guys, your suspension. So get those. Oh, one thing we can't show because I don't know how we'd show it, but whoever wins this bike is getting custom valve suspension from the ride shop down in Arizona. So they're going to get killer suspension. This thing's our Stormtrooper because it's all whited out, but we've got custom graphics coming from Selkirk Design up in Sandpoint, Idaho. He's a beast, great designer too. So he's making custom Silver Kings designs. A little tribute to the 2022 Silver Kings. Be there for 2023 because it's legendary. We've been working on it all summer, all fall. Put in a bunch of new terrain. It's gonna be killer. So this is getting a full custom wrap. So whoever wins it, they're gonna have the prettiest bike on the block and the most capable. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot the most important part. The rear tire. How could I have forgotten that? We're putting on this Han Hub W wheel Excel rim, super burly spoked. Oh my goodness. This thing is a work of art. We're putting this on the giveaway bike later today or tomorrow, whenever. I have to drill a hole in this rim for our second rim lock because we're putting a custom moose drilled setup on the back with a Michelin Extreme. You guys know these things don't exist.
Does that really say Extreme?
That's really a Michelin Extreme. You guys know these don't exist, but we squirreled this away. We've been saving this thing for like a year for this giveaway. Not actually a year, but a long time. We've had a lot of people offer to buy this. By far the best tire in the market, I think, for slippery, off-camber, gnarly terrain. Unfortunately, Michelin decided to stop making this for however long. Maybe they'll start making it again. We don't know. We're hoping they start to make it again. You can't get this tire, and we have one. Whoever wins the giveaway bike, this will be on your bike. Wheelie past your buddies when they're stuck on the hill climb. And then we're gonna be putting the M14 moose bib on the back. We get a lot of questions on drilling bibs. How close should the holes be? So we're building an extreme enduro bike here. We want this thing to get mega traction. So we're gonna be using our 1.25 moose drill bit. We sell that on our store. So if you guys wanna check that out, go check it out. So there's gonna be 1.5 to 2 inches between each hole. We don't actually measure, we kind of just eyeball it. But if you wanna measure, it's somewhere between 1.5 and 2 inches. Well, that pretty much wraps us up on the bike build and showing you guys what parts we're putting on it and why we're putting it on it. If you guys want to win this bike, head to InsideEnduro.com, enter. This is like a 1 month giveaway, so crazy short timeline. We're going to be giving it away on December 16th. So head to InsideEnduro.com. Good luck to everyone who enters. I'm super stoked. Appreciate it, guys. We make enduro.